there is now.
One day.
Trust me.
Oh, I'll definitely trust you. Somebody as much experience as you, I'd be a fool not to trust you.
Hello, everybody. We're pleased to have you with us today on a Friday afternoon for an exclusive webinar on the employment landscape to COVID-19 and beyond. Learn about the latest aid schemes and opportunities to seize, with fantastic speakers giving us their unique perspectives. As a first speaker, we have Laurent Peusch, Deputy Head of Employment Services of the National Employment Agency. A little bit about his background. After graduation in 2005, Laurent joins the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs, where he joins the Foreign Employment Department at the Luxembourgish Public Employment Services in 2007, and becomes head of department in 2012. In 2016, Laurent becomes deputy head of the department, where he's still working with third country nationals and asylum seekers. Laurent has been working with us since our inception, supporting our fintech entrepreneurs and executives, especially on the matter of recruiting tech talent. As a second speaker, we have none other than Sinead O'Donnell, CEO and co-founder of the Recruitment Advisors. Sinead O'Donnell is an expert in identifying and attracting the finance candidates' talent using her extensive and detailed knowledge of the Luxembourg employment market. She attained a 4-year management degree from the GMIT in Galway. Her first job was with the Irish Embassy in Luxembourg. In 1999, she moved to the financial sector until 2001, when she made the transition into recruitment. In 2008, with her business partner, Nathalie Delebois, who's with us today as well, by the way. Hello, Nathalie. She founded the Recruitment Advisors, a highly renowned recruitment agency that has accumulated numerous industry awards. As a third speaker on the roster, we have none other than MoBerries, Head of Business Development, joining us straight from out of Berlin. MoBerries has over a decade of experience in business development. He's helped scaling startups across sectors in fintech, marketing, e-commerce, fashion, and recruitment. He focuses on optimizing sales infrastructures as well as building and training teams. Currently, as the head of business development at MoBerries, he focuses on growth while creating an equal opportunity that works for everyone. On the moderator side, we have my colleague and co-host, Alex Pelican, head of partnerships and ecosystem development. Alex graduated with an MBA from the University of Quebec, Montreal, where he also taught marketing and strategy as an associate professor. Prior to joining LHoFT, he was a serial entrepreneur. At LHoFT, he's been a master of ceremony all over the world, interviewing fintech and thought leaders from all walks of life. Ladies and gentlemen, the screen is yours. Alex, please.
Thank you so much, Anthony. It's a very nice introduction from your part. Thank you so much. So welcome everybody to our webinar on talent, and thanks for our guests today who will speak about that. So as everybody knows, talent is the most critical element in any company. They can make you or break you. Unfortunately, today, with everything that's going on, it's a scary time, and when it's scary times, people do scary stuff. And we already see in the LHoFT some of our companies firing their part of the employees because they don't know what's going on and what will come next. So for us, just to bring some clarity and better understand what's going on, what are the solutions provided by the government, but also how to prevent this increase in employment and how to take advantage of this reality. We have 3 experts in HR and 3 of our partners. So we have Adem, Recruitment, and MoBerries. So we'll start with you, Laurent, from the governmental side. Can you give us the situation, what's going on, and how our startups can prevent and better work with it?
Yeah, hi everybody. Well, what's going on? I think.
Yeah, what's going on, Laurent? I mean, I see your beer, so already that
it's a long time that I left my office. Oh, I think well, everybody knows what's going on for the moment, and that the situation is getting harder and harder for any company in any sector. What we see is that the partial chômage, how we call it, is something that's working for the beginning, and it's working well, but not for every sector, as there's not every sector who's concerned if you apply for it. So especially for your companies, startups, in everything in financial sector or related to the financial sector, there are still restrictions to get the unemployment benefits for their staff. So you're still entitled to ask to apply for it, and then with the answer you can go on and see what's possible or not.
So do you still advise our companies to apply, even if they know that there is 80% chance they will not get it? Be careful what you are saying, because you're going to have a flood of demands.
Yeah, it's at the Ministry of Economy, so it's not at Adem, and so I'm not concerned about it. No, but well, what's for sure is even if it is 80% risk that it is refused, there's still 20% rest that it's possible. So, and if you don't apply, you will never get a positive answer. That's for sure.
So what would be your advice? How we should frame the demands?
The demand, in fact, is very easy. There's one form to fill out, and there's no this. You can add some special figures about your employees, the whole stuff that you are paying every month, and then you have to see, of course, if there are more and more companies from the financial sector who apply. So I don't know what the government will do, but what is sure, if nobody applies, nobody afterwards could say, okay, but we are not, nobody listened to us, but nobody asked for something. So that's for sure. And well, it depends always on the startup situation. You have in Luxembourg this code NAS, in which sector the company is registered. And this code, in fact, determines if you are entitled to get the chômage partiel or not.
So what should be the right code?
Nothing about finance.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I cannot give you any other answer. For sure, during the next days of the crisis or even next weeks, we have to see what will be the next steps of the government. We have to see what will be the hit back from the first shutdown to maybe the financial sector. Nobody knows it for the moment. The only thing that we see for the moment is that there are not so many companies who are dismissing people. They are really trying to get their staff together, because we also know if you now fire someone because maybe it's critical on the financial side, if it is going to start again in 2 or 3 weeks time, maybe then this guy will have another job and you will still have the problem even if you dismissed him. So we cannot say try everything. The only thing that I said to the companies is try it as long as you can, but you are in charge of your company. So if you decide to dismiss people or to stop running the company, well, I'm not the one who can say it's not good.
Do you see an increase in employment?
Well, we see in different sectors that the demand is increasing, such as commercial sector for the grant distribution. I will not say now the names, but all these large buildings, they have a large demand because everybody is getting there to buy something.
Okay, so they want to hire people, but do you see an increase in unemployment? I mean, number of people who are registered to chômage.
Of course, we see an increase in unemployment. The first who were touched, let's say, are those with determined contracts, so they were not extended, and these people surely came to us. Well, but we have to say, for the moment, we still have to look what is going on with the construction sector, even if they noticed yesterday that there will be a break again for the 3 weeks time in August. So this will also have an impact on our figures. Now we have to see how the commerce, all these small shops, are reacting on the reopening, let's say, because I don't have the feeling that all people are going back now to the small shops than they did it before. So they still have fear about everything they hear about. And if you go to the city center and you see, I don't know, 20,000 people with masks running around, yeah, I understand that some people are scared about the situation. And it's about this situation that we have to see what will be the reaction of the different sectors. But Still, I took a look at all the openings that we have. We still have over 3,000 openings, so that's still a lot. But they are all from the same sectors that it were before. So everything finance, IT, they are still looking for people, and surely also because they can work from home. Those people can work from home. They don't have to be physical on one side with 100 others. So that makes it easier maybe to recruit those people than to recruit I don't know, someone in a small shop.
Before speaking about recruitment, let's speak about the bad news. If I'm unemployed and if I'm a company and I want to fire some people, I mean, what are the different process I have to go through with Adem? Because I guess I cannot go see Adem face to face.
As an employer or as an?
As both. Let's start with the employer.
The employer. Well, there it depends on the how many people you will dismiss. If you have to proceed from to a plan social or a licenciement collectif, then the strategy is really some else. Then you have to see with your whole staff, your delegation of staff, or maybe then your lawyer. So that's something else. But if someone is dismissed, he can immediately register with us by phone or by email on our webpage. You can find a form to fill out. So we do not ask people to come to us. We say stay at home. We're gonna deal everything by internet or by phone calls. So even if you're registered by mail, immediately we're gonna open your file for the unemployment benefits. And if you're entitled to get those, then we will also proceed so that everybody gets those, his money, in fact. But for the moment, we are not asking people to come physically to us.
Perfect. So everything is online or by phone. Yeah. Good to know. Now on the recruitment side, and before giving the floor to Sinead, what's the process? Is also on there's a formula to fill on the profile I'm looking for?
It's still the same. You send us the profile that you're looking for. You can take the form that we offer you on our webpage, but it's also okay if you send us a PDF or Word document, the same that you publish on your website or somewhere else. And then we're going to open the vacancy in our systems and have a look if you have those people who match with the profile that you're looking for. And then still it is the same if you then would like to hire someone outside of Europe, so a non-EU national. There has been a change due to the state of crisis. So before it was you had to have an opening for 3 weeks, and then you were entitled to ask for the permission to hire someone outside of Europe. This has been extended to 6 weeks now during the state of crisis. So that's maybe an important message because it's something that almost nobody heard. We are every day in talks with companies. They say, okay, but it's 3 weeks. No, unfortunately, it had been extended to 6 weeks now during the state of crisis. And we will see. Well, the state of crisis will run until the 25th of June. And then we will see what will be the next steps, or hopefully before we will see the next steps of the government.
Okay. Do you want to add anything else, Laurent?
Not for the moment. I'm waiting.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a very personal question because it's just between you and me. Nobody's listening. You've been in this sector for so many years. What's your personal view on what's going on right now on the employment side? How do you see it evolving? Just between you and me. You don't represent Adem. Is Laurent speaking?
The thing, what I think is really that the market that we knew it till here will not be the same again after the crisis. I even think that for 2020 now, there will be so many changes, what we can't expect or can't see for now, that everybody has to take the chance and to reskill or upskill himself or theirself to stay really ready for the market, and for also they have to see the transversal level of employment. So if you are working, I say, as an IT in industry, you can also work as an IT somewhere else. But these are things that you have to look on. What I often see is that people are really looking in one way, despite taking the whole labor market, because there will be positions that will never be there again in the same way that they were now. Lots of companies took now the time to for the digital transformation. So now they have digitalized things that before have been done by 2 or 3 guys. So now they have everything on software based. So those people have to take the time and to rebuild themselves. And
Adem is proposing something on the upskilling.
Well, for the moment, we are only proposing something for those who are registered with us. So there we have lots of things, lots of trainings, but it's always a good idea to take those days that you have maybe left for your career to take some trainings. Well, it's always a problem with the employer, and for those times the people are not there to work, of course, but the employer really also have to rethink sometimes not to hire someone new for some profiles, for some competences, but to invest more even in these times in those people that are in their stuff, to upskill them and to prepare them for the new challenges that will arrive in the next 1 or 2 years, because we are only at the beginning.
Thank you, Laurent. Speaking of upskilling, we're going to release very soon a few programs with CFTE on the Financial Academy side from the LHoFT, but yeah, keep posted. So Sinead, it's up to us. Let's start with the easy question. How are you? And tell us everything.
Yes, it's a difficult time. And I think maybe I'll just cover a little bit about how the crisis has affected us, from a personal perspective. Running a small company in Luxembourg. So when the crisis first hit, we were very, very fortunate to have the IT infrastructure in place so that the team could work remotely. So just to give you a little base, we have 11 people in Luxembourg, and the transition from office to telework was very easy. And it was pretty much operating overnight. At this stage, the government had put in place the congé familial, and we applied for it in March. In April, it could be seen that the recruitment activity decreased very, very quickly. Every day, we saw more and more jobs were put on hold. And it pretty much stabilized at about an 80% reduction in the number of jobs we managed. So even though we could work from home, due to the downturn in the employment market, we just did not have the work to work a full day. So we really felt blessed to be operating in Luxembourg. And it was just so impressive, the amount of support that was offered from the government, and how quickly legislation changed and is continually changing. We discussed with our peers in the business and other small companies what they were doing. And to be very honest, everyone seemed to be in the same boat. There was no clear pattern, evolving who was doing what. Initially, we thought about putting half the team on congé familial and the rest on congé partiel. But our fiduciary advised us that this was not possible, that we had to choose. So the next question was, as you discussed earlier, with regard to the entitlement, were we entitled to congé partiel? Because like many companies, we didn't fit into the category whereby the company's activities were completely stopped. We were still operating. In any case, we made the application, and fortunately it was confirmed that we were entitled to the congé partiel. Our objective at that stage was really to keep things going as normal as we could in a very abnormal situation. We wanted to keep the whole team on congé partiel. So we did it on a 50% basis, and it kept everybody involved in the business. And for us, this is really, really important. We decided to track the congé partiel on a monthly basis, and this is what we're doing. We're keeping this flexibility and looking at how the business is going. For the moment, we remain at 50%. And, that possibly will change when we get everybody back in the office, and we're hoping it will improve a bit. When we go back physically to the office is the question. We were looking at June sometime. From an organizational perspective, we are ready, but we just need to ensure that the team feel that it is safe and it's the right time for them as well. With regard to salaries, we've decided to subsidize the salaries of our consultants to ensure that everybody gets, 100% of the salary.
So do you think people will want to stay and work remotely?
Not as it is at the moment, definitely not with children
Okay, because
around.
I know a lot of friends who are just looking to, get out of the house.
Yeah, they want to get out of the house, but they want the flexibility. People are seeing the advantages as well to working at home. Mm-hmm. So, there's plus and minus, but it's definitely going to change the mindset of, people's expectations. People are realizing, they don't really want to waste time commuting like they did in the past. And we all know, getting in and out to Luxembourg is especially for the frontalier, is one of the biggest difficulties and waste of time.
And that could also change our economy deeply. And we had this discussion with Nasir. Because if they're not commuting and they're not, doing the grocery and going to restaurants in Luxembourg, that could even change the economy itself. But that's for another webinar with the Ministry of Economy. So on the recruitment side, that's your expertise. What would be your advice right now to our companies and to different startups? Yeah.
I think, just having Laurent there as well, there is huge opportunity at the moment in that there are fantastic people, registered with the Adem that are on the market that have lost their jobs. And if you look at all the financial aid that the Adem are offering as well, I think that's a big plus. We're actually working on a scheme in conjunction with FRDS, which is the body of the local recruitment agencies in Luxembourg, in association with the Adem. So we're, as us recruiters have a lot more time in our hands. So we volunteer to help and support these candidates and give advice, with their CV, career, and with the job market. So we're seeing how good the candidates, are on the market at the moment.
Okay. And on trying to keep your employees motivated and happy, even if they are at home, what are kind of the strategy you advise your clients right now?
To keep everybody upbeat, positive. Nobody knows what's happening, and we all, we started our business in 2007, 2008. We saw Lehman crumble. We saw the financial sector had great difficulty. And, a time of change is a time of opportunity. We all have bad habits. We just have to look towards the future. And, change brings opportunity.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm coming back to Laurent quickly before giving the floor to Mo, because Sinead, you mentioned that the Adem could be very helpful, not just by providing 3,000 people, but also maybe on some financial aid. Laurent, can you explain to us, if somebody is unemployed with the Adem and I find a job, Adem is paying part of my salary, something like that?
There are different possibilities. Then one is that there are co-finance contracts between Adem, the employer, and the job seeker. That depends on the age of the job seeker. For example, for those young job seekers, they are under 30, they can then profit from a contract from 1 year to 18 months, where the employer is paying half of the salary. So that's already quite something. You have the same, almost the same for people who are a bit older, so 45 plus. And there are also financial helps, really. If, for example, you are getting a new job where salary is less high than it was before, you could apply that we pay you a part of it, of the difference. For example, if you had 3,000 euros in the last contract, you're getting now one from 2,000 euros. So then we can accomplish half of the new salary to pay you this half of it plus your salary. So it's a financial help that often is applied for people who are a bit older, who lost their job, and then we start a new career, but unfortunately getting paid maybe a bit less, so that you can really ask for the difference. But also there are, like always, some conditions, and but that's all this information you can find also on our webpage. They are also in English, French, and German, so everybody should find.
Check the Adem website. Mo, we can hear somebody speaking with you. It must be a nice lady because we hear a woman voice. If you cut your mic, maybe it's easier. So, okay, Laurent, so your advice is to check your website. So everybody who's going to recruit from those 3,000 jobs are right now on your website. Maybe also ask some kind of financial help from the Adem side then.
Yeah, it's most of the conditions are really related to the job seeker. But if there's a possibility and it's for goods for both, so always.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and thanks you, Sinead, for bringing that up. I think that's very helpful. There is anything else you want to add, Sinead?
Just a difficult time for everyone, you know, and we're all plowing through to the best we can, I think.
You've done an amazing job, and you managed to keep all your employees and keep their salaries. So that's great. You've got an amazing team. Maybe I will come back to you later with a few more questions. Let's go back to Mo, who's gonna. Mo, you're busy.
Somebody was on the call. No worries, all good.
So Mo, tell us everything about MoBerries. You guys have been our partners for the last 2 years on AI recruitment. It's funny because I had somebody yesterday on the phone and say, "Yeah, AI, it's just a bunch of crap." And so Mo, tell us, what do you think?
I think I just want to give everybody a little perspective. Like, let's look historically. Let's look at where we were at and where we're at now. Yeah. I think that pandemics have always been accelerators of innovation. If you look at the plague in Europe, what it did was after a pandemic, it shifted a lot of people because there was a premium for labor. It shifted and improved the middle class. Then when we had the SARS outbreak about 10 years ago, what we saw with SARS is that we saw the proliferation of e-commerce. So we saw e-commerce become a predominant force because people started shopping at home. What we are at now is what we call pretty much the isolation economy. People do more pretty much on their own, in their own space, and they pretty much get services sent to them. But this was something that was an issue. I agree that 90% of the startups or whatever that are saying AI, excuse my French here, is BS. It's bullshit. Okay, but where were we at? We were in a phase of automation. A lot of large corporate customers and a lot of large companies were looking to automate a lot of skills and saw new jobs coming into the market. We saw within the next 3-4 years about 58 million new jobs that hadn't been created before. And this goes back to what Laurent was saying, that people who were in one job bucket and they were focused only on that skill will have to upskill and retrain. And upskilling and retraining was something really big. About 82% of CEOs who were handling companies at $100 million run rate or revenue rates, they were saying that this is something big for them. Because we see this on factory lines previously, that people's jobs were being replaced by automation and those people need to be trained and moved up. Now in AI, what we care about actually is the phases of it. We care about data aggregation and analytics that can be used towards understanding people. So if you had this job previously, what can we shift you into in terms of uptraining, reskilling? What are your demands and what do you want in the marketplace? That's why we see that as data-driven recruitment. Our whole thing right now, somebody like Sinead, you'll not replace her. She's the top of the top. She's the human gatekeeper. These people who say you're going to replace recruiters, no. My job is to provide her with subsequent and adequate data that will allow her to make decisions based on somebody that might not have a profile that's built out directly for that job, because there's going to be new jobs that people didn't previously have experience with. And so that expert who has high emotional intelligence, who has a good network, can best kind of understand, using and leveraging data, where should I put this person, or what is their potential in terms of upskilling, retraining. In terms of what we're seeing now is we're just seeing an acceleration of a lot of the digital change that people were standing on stage and talking about. This is what pandemics do. They make us move faster and leaner. And for me, myself, is I see these type of pandemics as what I call market corrections. So you had startups that were raising a lot of money, a lot of value, adding a lot of fat onto the bone. But when you are operating under uncertainty, you start to look at your bottom line and say, how can I work more efficiently? How can I cut costs in different places so I can understand how to make the long run? For us, where we've seen the biggest hit are on what people think are roles that are actually essential for growth. For example, like sales, we've seen the biggest kind of cutoff are in areas like sales. However, if you pivot, you can look at industries that are booming. For example, a great partner out of France is called Doctolib. They focus on online bookings for doctors, and they have an infrastructure. They are growing and they are hiring. A lot of companies in logistics are growing and hiring. Also, this is an employer marketplace. I think Sinead will tell you more about this, is that right now you can access great talent and hire them on. Even if you are a smaller company, you can be more competitive because there's more talent out there. Unfortunately, what you're going to see is it's just like supply and demand. If there's more demand, you're going to see an impact on salaries. And so really my whole thing about telling you AI, this and that, is AI is a measure of building a data set and then understanding how to leverage that analytics and that data set to your organization. But in this instance, it's all about retraining, upskilling, and how we can collect analytics and data to help us achieve those aims.
How do you collect those data? By the way, you sound like a big fan of pandemic, so I'm a bit scared right now.
Well, look, I'm a fan of when you get punched in the face, you got to just look forward and keep going. You know, if you're walking through hell, you got to find a way to just keep going. That's what we're in business for. Everybody who's a business operator, that's what we know. That's why, you know, you get to stand on stage, you get to get the keynote speeches, you get to do all that, but then it comes down to what's your stomach lining. So I think that there's an opportunity in everything.
What kind of the skills are you saying, Mo?
So the skills that are really important, and it goes back to your questions in terms of the analytics. So first of all, what we do is we have this thing called a neural network. It learns based on people's interactions, because what we were seeing, for example, is somebody who was working in sales for 5-6 years doesn't want to do that job anymore. They want to move into product management, or they want to go into marketing. They want to do that. How do we help that person evolve? Like a sports agent. We have to understand what requisite skills they have. For example, have they worked with any type of CRM system? So from a technical perspective, do they have these skills that can transition and we can train out? Also, another thing that we look at is emotional intelligence. So we collect feedback data from the real market. We see how the employer perceived this applicant, and we collect how this applicant has perceived this employer in terms of fix that funnel. And we in Austria, for example, are working with a government institution. We are working a government institution in Qatar, as well in Canada, with FRJ, who are helping integrate immigrants as well into the workforce to understand how we can best fit these people based on the skills they have and how we can develop them.
Yeah. By the way, some of our partners have from Luxembourg, financial industry from Luxembourg, have already used your platform through the LHoFT. I've put the link in the forum, and they are very happy with that. So it's working. It's not BS, as you said in French.
Yes, thank you. The main thing for us is we really care. We see ourselves as like a sports agent, essentially. So we combine with all these kind of databases, whether it's an employment agency or whether it's a large scale organization who are letting people go. We take these people, we run them through our filter, we understand what their skills are, what they're looking for, their objectives, and we kind of assist them with finding jobs in real time. But this isn't really about me. I think this is about the global marketplace right now and how we can build great cooperation between private, public, and as well the top recruiters. I think what Sinead will explain to you is that she seemed a very humble person. We saw an oversaturation of recruiters in the marketplace in the last 5 years. Somebody who went and worked at a large scale organization who didn't have the background to be doing it, the market is cleaning this up right now. And so for us is that we've provided this middle ground so that, okay, a recruiter has inventory, which are people. They don't have the jobs for these people. Send them to us, we'll find them. We have jobs, we need profiles from recruiters. We have these government agencies, they need to stimulate jobs for these people. So it's all about how we can best work together and leverage these analytics.
Sinead, what's your intake?
No, it's very interesting that we see the whole recruitment market is moving towards digitalization. So yeah, totally in line.
Yep. And the one thing to put out there is recruiters are going to get hit. Okay, that's the reality, because when you have a marketplace that's an employer marketplace, the employer, everybody's purse strings start to get tighter and tighter, right? So candidates that people would have pulled the trigger on. But again, at the same time, if you're working with a recruiter who's well pedigreed, like Sinead, and she clearly has the background for it, she's seen this all over a decade. And that's why I'm telling you, pandemics and these things, there's nothing new. It's cyclical. The only thing we need to understand right now is how long is this going to last and where we're going to go. And it's very essential for us, to be honest with you, it's very essential that we go back to normal as quick as possible, because what the governments won't tell you is we will run out of money. We cannot subsidize people forever. That's not possible. So the economy has to go, and we have to generate, especially here in Germany, and we're slowly opening up. But I think that, like Sinead said, is these were things that were already in play, whether it was telework, remote work, up training, reskilling, different types of benefits. Like right now, if people are going to go and do more remote work, they're going to be like, okay, who's going to take care of my kids?
Perfect.
These are things we want.
So Mo, coming back to MoBerries. So if I'm looking for a profile, I'm going on the LHoFT website. I just shared the link. I'm just putting the key skills I'm looking for the people, and then what's happening in the background? What do you do?
Oh, this is fantastic. So all you do is you upload the job description. What happens is our system indexes the job description across every single channel and barrier, and then it releases it into our recruiter network. So recruiters also see the position so that they can tap different databases. And what happens is, based on GDPR, the filter, it actually recommends it to people it believes has the skill set, and they accept and decline. And what the system will do is it'll generate you a short list directly, and it'll generate
from how many people? This short list will be from how many people? What's your database, your full database?
So our full database currently, in a month, we are generating about 90,000, right now, about 90,000 unique matches. We just released our recruiter database right now, which we just are working with about 200 recruiters across Europe, because we want the recruiters also to survive, and they're really good at sourcing. So we told them, hey, if you have your database, plug it in with ours. And also we're going live, like I said, with the Austrian government to plug into their kind of workforce to see people who are unemployed and helping them as well. And we're working with employers who are laying people off, because like I said, if you have good cash flow management and good operational management, you really want to help people, because like Laurent said, as soon as this thing kicks back up, you're going to want those people back, and they're going to remember who had their back.
Good. Speaking of Laurent, I guess you guys had to talk together, because Laurent, you need to use something like that.
I'm already looking at this homepage.
Good. So business will be done after this webinar. I also wanted to add something that came to my mind yesterday, to my attention, is from Elias. So it's also a startup here based in Luxembourg. It's called Skillon. I'm going to share the link with you guys in the forum. And after you profile the different people you want to hire, you can also give them, and I think that's missing in the market, test the skills, because people say, I'm very good Java developer, I'm very good that and that, but then it's very difficult sometimes as a recruiter. I don't know, I guess Sinead, you've got the right skills in your team to do that, but also to assess the skills of those people you want to recruit.
Just to interject here real quick, what I meant with actual cooperation is not just with the sources. So with our candidate feedback data, we actually tell the candidate why they're not getting hired, and we get that feedback and we collect it, and we tell them, you know what, you need to up your skills in this area. Technical isn't strong enough, language isn't strong enough, and we work with people like Ironhack, which are coding schools, Skillon, different language schools, and we send these people there that they can go improve their profile and come back to us, and we can run another round of matching for them, and that's essential. The cooperation between private, public, and as well as executive recruiters who have been doing this for over a decade and have the market experience like Sinead, is essential to us really bridging the gap. Perfect.
So I just shared the Skillon link. So it's free until end of June, if I remember correctly. Try it out. I mean, you can. It's very interesting, and I think that was missing in the market. So I guess we are open to question. Somebody asked in the chat, Laurent, could you comment on the situation on the space sector in Luxembourg? I don't know what they mean by that. Maybe you know.
That's a good question. We still don't have any rockets. Honestly, I didn't hear something special from the space sector now during the crisis, and I think that they are hit in the same ways than other companies in the industry sector, but nothing special now. So
do you see any kind of profile searching application at Adem in this?
Yeah, we have still since the beginning. In fact, we have always application for people that they are looking for, and but those are really hard to find. So we were working on the strategy for the talent attraction for the whole country. This work was interrupted by some small virus. So for the moment, it's more the question about what will be after the crisis than for a real talent attraction strategy. But still, even if we will be hit by massive unemployment, maybe nobody knows, there are still those profiles that are missing to reopen or reconduct the companies to the better ways, and afterwards to hire the other people. So this was always the same way. Companies need those people to earn money, to get back into the market, and afterwards they are also accepting those people who maybe don't have the 100% profit that they are looking for.
Yeah. Here's a space company that can we comment? Okay. Look on the website of Luxembourg Space Agency, Prasanna. I guess they're even looking for the new head of marketing. So you'll see all the different jobs in the space sector.
No, excuse me, do you hear us?
Yes.
Sorry. Well, Prasanna is my colleague. I'm Omar Casey. I'm the CEO. Thanks. We just actually we are a space company, and we are one of the companies that has been actually affected by what's happening. Nevertheless, we are pushing through with the team we have here, but our recruitment process has been affected first because people cannot come for interviews anymore. The borders are closed. Secondly, most of the people we look for with this talent, like always come, we need, let's say, to go through immigration process with them and with Adem to get letters, because we have to invite them. We need, the job is posted in Adem, and then we have to wait 3 weeks. Now it's 6 weeks to get that letter. Then we need to go through immigration, and immigration informed us that now everything is per post, and what used to take 3 to 4 months may take even more right now. So it's kind of, and this is really, after a long search, it's very hard to find people in this field. And when we try to bring them, we face this issue. So yeah, I hope, this is the feedback we have. We may try to make them work remotely. The only problem here is, sometimes you do need, especially with startups, the full team to be together. And to brainstorm, and also if they are in different country, you don't also run into issues with tax and such things. And
Laurent, what's your intake? Thank you so much for the question, Prasanna.
Yeah, Omar. I think what he said is it's true. I think I had him last week or 2 weeks ago on phone due to a problem that he had to get someone in. I think that the situation that we have for the moment is a situation that we didn't know before. So nobody knows how to react on different things. And I'm quite sure that we also forget to take special measures on different things in the law. But we cannot say now, okay, due to crisis, the law isn't the law anymore, and we do whatever we want to do. And for sure, the reason why everything is getting slower is because everybody is working from home. Even for the government, those who can work at home stay at home, and these are physical applications, so someone has to work on them. And we had the same problem with those people who are in the country where the residence permit isn't valid anymore. So there also the state of crisis said, okay, it is extended for the state of crisis, but this will also give some issues afterwards.
Thank you, Laurent. We have a question from Gapur. So I don't know, Anthony, if you want to give the mic to Gapur, but his question is, what about the partial unemployment for the month of June? Ooh, that's a tricky question. Is it still with advances and then adjustment after the end of the month?
It depends on the sector. For those companies, but our minister, as far as I know, will still have a press conference this week or next week. But we already released the information about, so those who are still affected about the closing till the 11th of May, they can run again with the advances, and all the others will pass through the Comité Conjoncture and will be normally treated than before. That's a message you can also find on our website.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions? I don't see it. Can you just clarify something for me, Laurent, because it's a question that some of our companies are asking quite often. Are we obliged, is it mandatory when I have a job opening in my company to fill it at Adem before contacting Sinead or filling the form on Mo form?
Yes.
Yes.
We have it in the labor law, and it mentions, in fact, that each position that is vacant has to be declared at the Adem 3 days before you publish it somewhere.
Okay, what's the risk if you don't do it?
Well, in theory, the risk is that you have to pay an amount of money, but that's not something that we are doing. We would like that the companies work with us because we are doing a good job and not because they have to, even if the law says it. Well, there are so many recruitments every day who have been done or will be done in the future where we don't have the openings. That's something that's reality. But the law clearly says that each vacancy has to be declared at Adem.
Okay. So yes.
Can I add? When
of
a
course.
company comes to us, we automatically declare all our positions. So as soon as they come to an agency.
Also, if I may add something really quickly, from the data collection perspective, I really recommend that people go to a government institution. The reason being is if the government is able to leverage any sort of data that is generated through our platform, it's going to help the next people find jobs, right? So it's very key that governments in Europe actually become to get ownership of this data as well, working with private institutions so that they can actually facilitate it for future applicants as well. So we encourage that as well.
Yeah, of course, we see it often. If an employer comes to us and says, okay, but I'm looking for a profile, whatever it is, but in any way, you don't have it, so I don't come to you. And we say, okay, but if we don't have the visibility on the market, what profiles are researched, so what can we do?
So yeah, it benefits everybody, in fact, working with the governmental agency.
Yeah.
So why don't you yet work with the governmental agency in Luxembourg, Amo, if I can ask you? Yeah.
There's really no answer for that, but hey, the future is always a prosperous future, right?
Good. What's your business model, Mo, if I can ask? I don't know if it's something that you can share with us.
Oh, no, that we're totally open. We have what we call 3 tiers of business model. We have a subscription model for people who are scaling very quickly and don't want to pay success-based fees. Because we have this retargeting approach, people can also upload positions in what we'd call success-based positions that's 70% cheaper than anywhere else in the market, because we focus on the people in the recruiter's database where they don't have openings for them so that the recruiter can get their cash in. And the last one is really the data itself. We provide marketplace data, real-time analytics regarding what feedback is coming from the candidates, which channels are performing the best, and we collect all of this data when we work with SAP, for example, to visualize it and provide it to managers that they can make informed decisions, as well as recruiters are using this data. They're buying it from us to understand which sectors should I focus on, where should I focus my inventory in order to strengthen my back office operation, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Guys, I guess we are running out of time. We don't have any more questions. Yes, it's just, is this, okay, I don't understand. Unemployment benefits have been extended for the duration of the state of crisis. Is this to be meant like some sort of bracket? Laurent, you want to take that your mic is on mute?
Yeah, that's also good.
It sounds like Donald Trump. You should never take the last question, but yeah, we are humans.
No, during the state of crisis, it is true that those people who had been run out of the unemployment benefits after the beginning of the state of crisis were extended for the duration of the state of crisis. But this will end with the end of the state of crisis, and then we will consider the normal ways again of unemployment benefits. If this is the answer that you wanted to hear.
It's good for me. It's a good answer for me. So not many minutes left. So please, last words from you. Let's start with the ladies. Sinead.
Last word. Oh, lucky me. It's Friday. Let's just, let's end on a positive note. It's been, a difficult few weeks. Let's hope we can get back to work soon and business starts, going and we'll get that job market moving.
What's your last advice, Sinead?
My last advice to whom? To our clients, to our candidates, to our, just stay optimistic. It's going to work out. We're all there. We're all pushing in the right direction.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. Laurent.
Pleasure.
Oh, did I say enough? No.
Say something positive.
Something positive. There will be an end of the whole crisis one day. No, but I think that everybody should stay positive, like Sinead already said. Because if you stay at home now, when you can get out again, this will not facilitate your situation afterwards. So get out again now with the restrictions that we have, and live your life again.
Thank you. Thank you. Mo?
I think the one thing is just to have the clear perspective of this is nothing new. History is very cyclical. And in times like this, organizations like the LHoFT is where you need to lean into relationships. We have a great network here of private providers, public providers, and as well as really well-garnered people. So lean into those relationships, because that's where you're going to have to look for that business, and that's what's going to carry you through. Other than that, it's just simply, like I said, if you're walking through hell and you're going through a tough time, your job as an operator is just keep going. That's all you can do.
Thank you so much, man. Very inspiring words from the three of you, and a lot of energy. And that's what we need, I think, energy. So, Anthony, back to you. What's going on today? We're going to have a busy schedule this afternoon. Please, conclusion.
The day's far from being over. So we have at 6 o'clock, we welcome the IMF on a discussion round about the implication of data. During the current times of crisis. We have one director, one economist that is joining in from straight from Washington. Just after that, we have our FinTech Friday, to which you're all invited. Let me drop the registration page in the chat. That's all about it from me. We have, of course, other webinars that are coming up next week, but I think the most important thing is to mention that we have that you can meet us today at our FinTech Friday. So thank you, Alex.
And bring your special drink with you. So Sinead, Mo, Laurent, please join us. It's going to be at 6:30 this evening. Guys, thank you so much. Wish everybody a great weekend ahead, and let's catch up. So they will get in contact with you guys. If you accept, we will share some emails with our community and replay the recording if you agree with that. Okay? Thank you so much. Keep safe and take care. Keep the good energy.